Listen, I don't know who needs to hear this. Stay single. Stay single until you meet someone who doesn't want to play games with you. Stay single until you meet someone where it feels easy. Like, you don't have to overthink everything you say. Until you meet someone who knows what they want. Until you meet someone that you don't have to remind to treat you better. Until they never make you doubt how they feel about you. Because that's when it'll be worth it.
It's not necessarily a bad thing to say, but let's just be honest. The reason why she's saying all that is because she's chasing Chad, bro. And it's also like, bro, like, everyone's gotta, to an extent, like, watch what they say. I don't understand this. Like, I don't really understand this mentality where you go into a date and you just comfortable off the bat. Like, no, that's not how that works. Like, what? It's also like, let's be real here. She's probably the one playing mad games. This is all cap, bro. This is like, it's all cap, bro.
Stop the cap.
You can just tell by the eyes, bro. There's just something about eyes. There's just something when women do this. There's just something about that I just automatically don't believe anything they say. It's crazy. Maybe this is just me opening my third eye, but I think everything she's talking about is just stuff that she's done. Like, I don't think any of this is any fault of the guys that she's been with. Like, it's not exactly bad advice to tell women to, like, stay single, but let's be real, that's not what she's doing. It's cap. It's all cap, bro.
Stop the cap.
Another controversial opinion that I have is that if you are under the age of like 25 or even 27, you just shouldn't worry about dating to marry. Like, these are quite literally some of the hottest years of your life. You can still be hot in your 30s and 40s and 50s, of course. But when you're 30, 40, and 50, you're going to be like, God, I wish I was 22 again. And you want to spend that with a man? I'm sorry, but I have never felt my worst in life ever than when I was dating men. Just dating. Didn't matter. Relationship, not a relationship. It's just, the risk is not worth the reward most of the time, okay? Like, listen. I have never felt uglier. I have never hated myself more. I have never had as many sleepless nights. Pain in my chest. I developed chest pain this summer because I got cheated on. I almost went to the doctor because, like, my heart was hurting. And I couldn't figure out why, but I was so stressed the fuck out. Because of a man. Are you kidding me? At 22, ugly and stressed over a man? When has a man's opinion ever been relevant in the history of the world? War? Capitalism? Really? That's what you're basing your worth on? People who invented that? Be hot. Do whatever you want. Travel. Get a hobby. I knitted this in one day. You know what I wasn't doing? Worrying about a man.
Do you ever watch a video and then as you're watching it, you get like stomach pain? You just like you listening, you just, you know what I mean? I think the only good advice there was travel and get a hobby. And the thing is, girls like this, when they say travel, like travel, it's like, you know what that means. There's quite a bit to unpack here, boys. Why does she think it's controversial to not date to marry under 25 or 27? Like, is that really that controversial? Like, that may be a mainstream opinion that most NPC bots believe, but is that really controversial? This is also someone who doesn't really understand relationships and men, I think, in general. If she thinks that she's at risk in the relationship, when most of you boys know when you go into a relationship, you're the one at risk most of the time, if not all the time. You're bringing the resources, you're bringing the security and provisioning and whatnot. Of course, you just gotta throw in that capitalism bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it's almost, you could sense that coming in this kind of video. I don't know, bro. I swear, it's videos like this that just make, they just turn off men from dating and marriage, bro. It's like the underappreciation of men in general is wild. It is rampant. I don't really understand it. I mean, I guess I kind of do understand it when you brainwash for 30, 40, 50 years into this crap. I don't know. It's also very evident, once again, the kind of guys she dates. Like the previous video. It's always the same, isn't it?
Next time you have an awkward experience you find embarrassing, just remember that the other night, I went home with a man that I've been seeing off and on for about a year, and he whispers to me in a very intimate fashion, "I really like you." I said, "I really like you too." And because I can't let things just be what they are, I followed it up with, "Ooh, ah, ah, ah." in bed. Because I can't take things seriously ever. Ooh, he laughed. He thought it was, oh my God, demon. What the fuck?
I mean, that is what it's like. I mean, that's what's awaiting for you at the wall. I mean, does nobody tell them that this is what awaits them? Or maybe they just don't care. I don't know. I feel like the two previous girls before this girl, this is like them in 10 years or the future. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of weird. It's almost like you can see it happening before your eyes. It's crazy.
Date someone that was incredibly underweight or too skinny?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's always like a part of me that's like, I can help you out, bring you to the gym. Same as being overweight. Like, there's always room to grow. So
Notice how the question was, would she date a guy who are underweight? And then her response to the question was, as long as he's trying to not be underweight. Gentlemen, you just gotta get in the gym. There is no other way around it. I mean, it's 2022. Looks are more important than anything nowadays. It's the first thing women notice. Do yourself a favor. Don't put yourself in a handicap. Get some kind of resistance training going. I like to do gymnast rings. You can do weights. I do mix them quite a bit, both of them, but just any form of resistance training, and just pick the thing that you're gonna do consistently, and you should be fine, and eat right. You should be all right.
I don't know which girls are lying to themselves right now, but we need to have a chat. And don't get mad at me. Think of me like your older sister. Been there, done that. I've already experienced this, learned the lesson myself. So now I just want to teach you the lesson so that you could be honest with yourself. That man did not end things with you or ghost you because he's too intimidated by you. Stop convincing yourself of that. Stop letting your friends convince you of that. People used to say that to me, so I used to say it all the time when things didn't work out with a guy. I have been pretty successful from a pretty young age, and one of the things about me at that time was that, like, I made it my whole personality trait. Like, didn't need anybody for anything. Work, like, came first. I was a little more on the, like, argumentative, like, highly opinionated, which I am a highly opinionated person, but, like, it was just a different way. And people used to say that to me, oh, well, they're just so intimidated by you, and I ate that shit up until finally it came to my senses and matured, and I was like, well, I'm not dating insecure men. So I don't think that the men I date who are, like, successful, have their shit together, you know, pretty confident, are ending it with me because they're intimidated. They think I'm too good for them. I just don't think that that's necessarily true. What I've learned and realized is that they just don't like it. Like, if you are argumentative, why would they spend their time with you when there's someone else who's not? Or if your whole life is about not needing anybody and just like, oh, I can do this, I can do that because I'm, like, so successful and work is everything to me, then, like, why would they want that in a partner when there's someone who's more, like, open to being, like, a team rather than so, like, independent? The only time it'd probably be true if a man was intimidated by you would be if he had significantly less going for him than you do. Like, you're successful, you make a ton of money, you travel, you live in a nice place, whatever, and he's, like, between jobs and lives with his parents, like, doesn't have a steady income. Or if you're, like, 10 out of 10, like, stunning model, most beautiful girl he's ever seen, and he's, like, unhealthy, unattractive, like, never been with someone that looks like you, so he, like, gets intimidated and unfortunately, like, psychs himself out. Maybe in that case. But chances are that's not what your dating dynamic is. And it's just that your personality isn't for him. He just doesn't like it. But he's not intimidated by you.
It's about time we get some good advice to women from women. It's about time. The only part I really disagree, I guess, is the whole thing about a guy being insecure if she makes less or if she looks a certain way. The thing about guys is we understand that if we're with a girl that's out of our league, and we understand female nature and whatnot. We're just very careful with women out of our league because we understand that if that remains that way for too long, where we're not really on self-improvement and we're not improving ourselves, and that girl really is out of our league in looks and femininity and all that, there's a good chance they're going to leave at some point or cheat or just get bored. It's just what it is. Everything else she said is pretty spot on, I got to say. We don't want a female version of our boys. And especially if you're a top 10%er, if you're a good-looking dude who makes a lot of money, you're just trying to you're just trying to get a nice girl. That's really it, bro. A lot of guys are starting to wake up to this femininity, cooperativeness, obviously being attractive, not feeling the need to create arguments for no reason, unless there obviously is a reason, but most of the time it isn't. There really isn't a reason for it. Kudos to this girl, though. I mean, it's good to see some girls starting to give good advice. I'm noticing this trend of women in their 20s especially who they're kind of rejecting the things that have been told from a young age. And it's nice to see them in their 20s learning this and not in their 30s, 40s, 50s when it's already too late. And like the girl in the previous video, they only get a certain type of guy who's not really serious about them. It's good to learn this stuff young while you're still in your prime. It's pretty encouraging. Not all of this stuff on TikTok sucks. A lot of it does though.